Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard about morality and about leadership in the previous speakers. Mayor Tate, I would like to ask you a question. In the Gold Coast Weekend Bulletin, you were quoted on page 4 of the weekend edition as saying on why you should be re-elected. You want a safe pair of hands, a willing pair of hands, hands prepared to have a go. Not these F.kers who just bring up BULLS.IT bracket no laughs. So I'd like to inform you that I have a business in this area, and so do other people standing for mayor have businesses. And I understand, sir, that in the same article in the Sydney Morning Herald, it was alluded to the fact that you listen to the Bible by iPod at 4 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock. And what I'd like to ask you is, what Bible teaches you to say that about your opponents? So I think it's time that you stop being a weight-pumping, biking bother boy on verbal steroids. I think it's time you realise that your manner is totally unacceptable to this city and all the overseas trips that you do. You have engaged in offensive, demeaning, disgraceful conduct towards not only myself but other people who are standing for election. And you have, in doing so, sir, you have breached the provisions of the Local Government Act. And let me say, I could stand here and ask you, what do your wife and family in your old school and the LNP think about your conduct? So I don't think it would take us anywhere because we'd get some sort of rubbish coming from you. And I could stand here, and say to you, sir, it's not about Tom Tate, the weight pumper. I spent 6 years of my representative football career in gymnasium, had a 25-inch neck, and the reason I gave it up was because it was doing my head in. And I would like to ask you, what are you drinking or taking or smoking that causes you to categorise me as a FU.CKER who speaks BULL.IT when I have a business to run here, and I may not win this election, but I do not and I will not stand for that sort of reference to me or any other person in our community. I could stand here and I won't tell people about the fact that you invested in $1.1 million in forestry bonds, which were fraudulent. I've accused you of perjury in your reference in the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Those bonds were fraudulent because your mate Kovacevic in Kent signed off on them. The trustee of the bonds, the company didn't even exist, and you offered those bonds as part payment to a lady called Amanda Duncan Strelick for the purchase of land, and when that deal fell through, you persecuted her in court to the point where she suffered depression and major problems. You, sir, are not fit and proper to be mayor of this city. May I say also, and I'm at risk of not telling you what I stand for, but I think most of you know the work that I've done in the Southern Gold Coast. I thought that being elected as mayor when you were the incumbent was about what you promised people before you got elected. I have a letter here, April 2012, which was sent out about the same time as this time, where enclosing 2 postal votes for the mayor, where he said he was going to deliver lower rates. Have any of you had any lower rates? Mine have gone up 8.8%, and I know others have gone up much more. He was going to build the transport network we need. Why would you believe him? He hasn't. Why would you believe what the mayor says about his promises? The only more, it was a great singer. I think I'll buy him the CD. He said he was going to reduce crime by adopting a zero approach to property crime. Sir, property crime belongs to the state police. Create more local jobs by expanding the medical, information technology, marine education sectors and restarting the construction and tourism industry. Folks, the dollar has gone down 20% since the mayor came into power, or position I should say. The bank bill interest rate and the cash interest rate's gone down 44% from 4.25 to 2.4. A drover's dog could have got the construction industry going in this city. And what I don't understand, the mayor only refers to one or two of those industries. What about giving us some detail on the medical, information technology, marine education? What about telling us about that? You want to be re-elected. You give us nothing except promises, false promises. What about abolish ratepayer-funded overseas junkets and deliver a salary freeze for the mayor, councillors and senior council staff? Massive fail. Sir, we knew when you promised that you couldn't deliver it because there are contractual and legislative obligations that you would be breaching before you did it. I do not believe one thing that you promised for this city. I've asked you in an email on the weekend to tell me where you got your figures from about the cruise ship terminal and the light rail airport and all of this. I've asked you 13, 14 questions. You want us to vote you back in on the basis that this is these things are stand or fall, and you give us no information. You are taking the city for granted, sir. Taking our city for granted. My vision for the city is one where we all get on together, where our councillors do their job and explain the city plan, where we have a small business city plan, and where we address the terrible, terrible scourge of ICE in this city. The mayor doesn't want to talk about that.